Little Miss Drop Stitch, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Black Sheep wools. And I thought I'd do this because it's the largest local yarn store in the UK, I think is what they title themselves as, and also they do have quite a bit of a cult following from both kind of far away in the UK and also abroad as well. I know in the group on Facebook a lot of people put, you know, they've ordered from abroad or they travel quite a few miles from, you know, Scotland or Birmingham or whatever. Black Sheep Wools is located in the northwest of England. It's about 40-45 minute drive from me in, well, Culture, so Warrington way, where Warwick Castle is from actually. It is technically my local yarn shop as well, which would be great, but it's just not very accessible by public transport. It's in a beautiful area as well, and you know, quite semi-rural, expensive houses, things like that. But yeah, it's just, in my opinion, not very accessible with public transport compared to other yarn shops I've been to where, you know, you can get a train. It's kind of in, like in the Lancaster episode we did, where you can get the train and then they're within walking distance. So that is why I've only been twice. So this was my second time, and how I ended up going, it wasn't planned, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So Mum likes to cross stitch, and they do cross stitches as well, not just wool. And she came in, and she likes to see things in person, and she just said, "Oh, do you fancy a ride out tomorrow to Black Sheep?" So yes was obviously the answer, but then it's like, oh, I've well, for a start, we're 3 weeks after payday, and I've not kind of planned anything I wanted to buy, which, you know, we already know I've got enough projects. I didn't need to get anything. So yeah, I don't know if it was a good or a bad thing. So there's one thing I had in mind to get, which I did, which was the Rowan Kid Silk case. Oh yeah, there were Rowan, the brand Rowan, a flagship store for the Northwest for that as well. And I will say it's the best selection of Rowan I've ever seen in a shop. They do kind of have everything. So yeah, they sell, and oh yeah, it is nice going in. It's not kind of a, you know, some places can be a bit too packed with wool and can feel a bit overwhelming and junk yardy. It's not at all, and it's really well set out. So they do the, which I'll be pronouncing wrong, the Sheepies brand. They do loads of that, which is not one you see in wool shops in the UK. So they do lots of Sheepies, all the kind of big UK brands you can think of. And then they've also kind of recently branched out into kind of more indie and hand-dyed stuff. So the Earth yarns, and they do, yeah, West Yorkshire Spinners, which is a favourite of mine. What else? Oh, yeah, this is something I've never seen in even like a kind of hobby store, never mind a wool store. They did dyeing your own yarn stuff, and I got into dyeing yarn quite a few years ago. I don't anymore because it drives my mum mad and she gets very anxious with me with dyeing the kitchen. And yeah, it wasn't kind of easy to get hold of materials, then postage would be expensive, etc. But yeah, they did their own acid dyes, the yarn blanks, which was another, because at the time it was either really expensive or you'd have to get in bulk, which, you know, you don't need loads. Excuse me, I've just had a jacket spud for my dinner. Yeah, very impressed to see that. It's nice to kind of be inspired by a different hobby. I absolutely do not need inspiring by any other hobbies, by the way. But yeah, you might like to be inspired. They did tapestries and cross stitch, particularly bawdy threads. They didn't have the one Mum wanted, but she did order it when she came back. But it was nice for her to see them in person. And there's a lot of samples of the cross stitches as well, which I will say. A lot of people know about them from the craft shows as well. Kind of, you know, Glasgow, Exeter, Birmingham, etc. That's where they've met them, and they have the cross stitch samples there all framed. So it is nice to see them, and all the things we wish we had time to make as well. When I say as well that I think they had a fantastic kind of choice of yarns, I do mean that kind of catering for everyone. So I really like my kind of 100% natural wools, and there was a bigger selection than you'd see in other yarn shops in the UK, where I live, sometimes there's absolutely none, or it's a blend of acrylic and wool. So yeah, there was probably there's not a great selection in the UK still, but there was, you know, the biggest that I've ever seen of the wools and West Yorkshire spinners, things like that. And then also they did your, you know, your acrylics and the ones that are a bit more baby friendly, washable, for blankets and things like that. Oh yeah, Stylecraft Special, which will kind of put all the controversies about that to the side for the moment, the quality. They did every single shade you could imagine. There's pictures, oh yeah, there's pictures on the website as well. So they did every single shade you could imagine, and then a sample of each, like in a crochet granny square. So that was really cool. And then it was the same for the Hayfield bonus as well. So if you like your toys, blankets, etc., loads to choose from for that. I will interrupt this little review with my show and tell. Oh yeah, I kind of got into a bit of a fight in the wool shop as well, but I'll tell you that in a moment. So, this again, picture on my website. It was on the table, that's what I will say. Oh, loads of samples of knitwear. Mum saw a beautiful scarf by Rowan and she said, oh, do you think I could knit that? So yeah, she's going to get inspired again to knit, and I'll get it for her birthday if she's good. So this was, yeah, it was on the table. I thought, oh, that's lovely. So I may as well show you. This is the pattern. I have to say, I wouldn't have picked it based on the pattern, but the sample was beautiful. Like the yarn, it's a cotton and bamboo, is just lovely. Like it's for grown-ups as well, is what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't have picked it because you'd have thought, oh, it would be too small and it's for babies. But no, I really like the sample. We will talk about why in a minute, but they didn't have the green colour. I think it's thyme in here. But the one I picked is more of a darky sage, which I think will make it look more grown up as well. And it will be just kind of like a throw for either a bed or a couch. So that's with Stylecraft Naturals Cotton and Bamboo. And that's why it's good as well, because I kind of then end up looking at, you know, more kind of the natural known brands, if you will, or kind of foreign ones, because you end up presuming like the kind of big brands in the UK are just mixes or just acrylic yarn. So yeah, it's good to learn from there as well. So this is me not going in for anything. We've got this beautiful pink shade, and it's, oh, honestly, it is really soft. I can't wait to wear it with it come more kind of late spring, summertime, because it is still absolutely freezing here. Oh dear. Oh, that's nice. That's like a powder blue, will we say? This sort, yeah, spring green. So it's meant to be in thyme, but we picked spring green, which is a bit darker, but I think it'll still look as lovely. Usually I'm one for sticking, you know, to the pattern. I either go completely off piece to mill thing or stick to the colours in the pattern, but no, I actually think that will fit. A lovely lilac. A bit of a darker blue. Oh, this is beautiful. Buttermilk. I think these would be really nice for doing like a, you know, the hexagon cardies as well. Oh, this is like a off-white, should we call it? Yeah, and the others are duplicate colours. Oh no, this one, white pink as well. So I ended up in a little bit of a fight. So at the start I'd asked the lady, you know, what pattern was it? And she'd show me, and then she came up to me later on just as we were passing and said, oh, there's been some interest in it. So I thought, oh, right. So I marched over to the section of the yarn, and there was a woman there looking at the booklets. Fine, you know, that's a perfectly normal thing to do. And she was looking through the booklets and I was looking at the pattern and then, you know, picking the yarns. And she, you know, you can sit like you feel watched, and she kept looking over at me. You know, looking again, and then she shouted at me. She was like, what pattern have you got in your hand? And she was like, I don't want to copy her, which she clearly did, which, you know, is absolutely fine. It's a free country, but then I'm panicking because it's like, oh, are we running out of the shades? And, you know, the shades are called things like, what have we got? Wedgwood and stuff like that. So it's not an obvious one either, and I'm trying to find them. But then she's huffing and puffing, like every single ball of wool I picked and put in my basket, she huffed and puffed whilst looking through the pattern booklets. I don't know what a problem was, but yeah, eventually I won. And she went away. Honestly, I'm not like this, but maybe wool does turn me into a bad person sometimes. Yeah, so there was my little fight in a wool shop. I won. Yeah, and I did get the last 2 of the buttermilk as well. And was that buttermilk? Whatever that is, I got the last 2 of them. So yes, perhaps a little bit naughty there. I'd actually crumble if she was watching this. I genuinely don't think I did anything wrong, and I was mindful not to lean over and stuff whilst I was picking the yarn, but at the same time I'm panicking like, what colour is a Wedgwood? Ah, that was me. I was thinking more kind of earthy Wedgwood, but now I'm thinking, yeah, Wedgwood is in the English ceramics. There we go. I see what they were doing. Okay, other things I got, the Rowan Kid Silk Haze. Prices are kind of standard average as well. They're not especially dearer or cheaper than anywhere. This is going to be, I've already got some blue of the King Cole Chunky Wool. So it's going to be like a light blue, kind of a bit more sky blue than that, with a mohair running through it, a drop swan. But then I thought, I'm going to crochet snowflakes, so I'll run this through it. That'd be cool. And then this was very naughty. Okay, I already have one of these from 2 years ago that I got from Ethel and M, which is also on the Lancaster video. I'll link that if you'd like to watch it. I've not used it yet. But this, the colours were just so funky. Isn't it strange as well, like then you go back to stuff, you know, we've not knitted things for a couple of years that when you stash, you think like, I'm into completely different colours now. But yeah, so we go from a pink, like a Barbie pink, all the way to kind of a chartreuse lime green. And it's each ball, then it kind of gradiates to the next solid colour. And this is by Schoppel, Zauber Perlen. Well, they also had 50-gram Schoppel balls, which I've never seen before. That's really cool. Yeah, and they do absolutely loads of these. You could do scarves and stuff as well, but it is the composition to do socks with. So they'll be nice long socks. And I got a few bits I forgot about. These are good. They're from Pony. Let's get one out for you. Little pens. You know, if I start doing like little animals and whatever's in my mind, it's always kind of in the future for projects. So I don't know why I'm winking there. 2 of those little ones, they're reasonably priced, and some, mine are finally gone a bit rusty after about 10 years, so I did get myself some tapestry needles. And I asked my mum to get me an Emma Ball mug and coaster with the cute little sheep on for my birthday, and she's put it away for that. So there we go, that's me. I don't need anything, but I can't help it if I'm inspired, can I? Couple more things to mention about Black Sheep Wools. They do lots of workshops, and my friend Jacket Knitting's been on a couple. She went on one for making birds and an intarsia one a few years ago, and she said she really liked them. They are quite pricey, but I would go for something where I wasn't going to set it up at home, like the weaving and spinning. I'd absolutely love to do that, but I'd never kind of, she says, be setting that equipment up at home. So I think that would be worth the price. However, there's some, learn to crochet, whatever, and I completely appreciate, people, my mum's like that, likes to learn it on a one-to-one basis, or, in person at least. So it would be really good for that. But for me, I'd personally be finding like anywhere to save 60 quid. Although the intarsia one, that's something I kind of tried once many years ago and was like, nah. So yeah, that would probably be a good one to learn. But yeah, they do kind of finishing workshops, knitting, crochet. I think they've done dyeing in the past and all that. With them being a Rowan flagship store, I do know that they have the designers there sometimes. So Martin Story, I'd quite like to meet him actually. This is why I need to get my confidence back with driving because I'm missing out. Yeah, beautiful Rowan samples as well as pictures on the website. And Ernie and Carlos have been before. I know they've said in the videos that that's where they order their tinsel wool. They order it from Black Sheep Wools, and I did actually talk about there with Carlos in real life on the Norwegian knitting cruise with him. So I was like, oh yeah, that's my local yarn store. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. Just a couple more small but important points. Oh yeah, there is a cafe. So yeah, I had a hot chockey, Mum had a mocha Jadoom decaf. No, they didn't. I also had a piece of Victoria sponge, so Vicky sponge. Mum had a tea cake. Got there. The other things were reasonably priced, but oh my goodness, the slice of cake was £4.50, which is, you'd pay that in like a Harrogate tea room. And if it was a massive wedge of cake, then yeah, I'd expect to pay maybe £4, but geez. And it was homemade, but no, this is not cool. So yeah, and there was no price on it, obviously. So yeah, I wouldn't have cake again. Just because that is really expensive. But yeah, it's great to either put, you know, your husband or whoever in there, or if you need a pit stop as well. Like, I would totally have a hen do there. I think that would be amazing. You know, take the crew and then have some, you know, hot chocolate and things like that. My other point, oh yeah. So the vibe of the shop, and we all kind of like different things from a craft shop. It didn't have an impersonal vibe like, let's say, chain stores like Hobbycraft might have. However, great, absolutely great. Yeah, it was heaving, it was really busy. Go early because you won't get space on the car park otherwise. The staff were very busy, so I don't think they'd have time to help you, whereas some smaller yarn stores that aren't quite as busy, they can kind of help you one-on-one. So let's say you went in and said, I want to learn how to knit, they could potentially show you and get you, you know, your starting materials. Or if you said, oh, I'd like to knit a cardigan for my granddaughter, then they'd, you know, be able to show you patterns that they liked and the yarn and stuff. The staff wouldn't have the time at Black Sheep, I don't think, to do that with you and for you. Like the lady you found this pattern for me, I disturbed what she was doing and setting up as well. But yeah, lots of staff busy with displays and stuff like that. The lady who owns it, Sarah, she's got a bit of a kind of cult following as well on Facebook with the lives, and people seem to love her and try and find the poor woman in the shop, and I always have pictures with her. There we have it. That is my trip adventure review of Black Sheep wools in the northwest of England. Let me know if you're part of that following on Facebook, or if you've been, like to go, etc. And yeah, let me know if you've ever had a fight in a wool shop. Thank you, take care, and please give us a like and subscribe so we can make more reviews.